Marc Spector, aka Moon Knight, was a Jewish-American former U.S. Marine turned CIA agent. After leaving both organizations in disgrace, he became a soldier of fortune. He was left for dead in the desert on a mercenary mission in Egypt, where an idol of the Egyptian moon god, Khonshu, saved him and gave him his moon-based powers. Returning to the U.S. with a newfound lease on life, he took up multiple identities, such as Stephen Grant and Jake Lockley, to fight crime, which, when alongside childhood trauma, also caused him to lapse back into his dissociative identity disorder. More on Moon Knight after this. United Comics Universe.
A universe for fans.
From pages to pictures, we are comics. Hello, United Comics Universe. This is JoninSho. I want to give you a little bit of information about Moon Knight, upcoming character and upcoming production in Marvel Comics. I'm guessing he's what you would consider more on the supernatural side of the Marvel characters, so hopefully we'll get some crossovers with Blade like he did in the comics, and Doctor Strange. And if I recall right, Moon Knight, he used to be a member of the Defenders, which I think the original Defenders team was created by Dr. Stephen Strange, I believe. And here's a little history of the early life of Marc Spector. Marc Spector was born in the United States, the son of rabbi who as a child had managed to escape Nazi persecution after Hitler invaded Czechoslovakia. Marc grew up on the poor side of Chicago, where his father, Elias, was the target of discrimination. Marc couldn't understand why his father would never fight back against persecution. During the last years of his childhood, Marc discovered by chance that a close friend of his family, Rabbi Yitz Perlman, was in reality a Nazi deserter and secretly a serial killer of Jews named Ernst. Marc's fighting instinct kicked off for the first time when he fended off against Perlman to escape his grasp. Perlman later disappeared without a trace. This traumatic event also caused Marc to develop dissociative identity disorder. The first personalities Marc developed was Stephen Grant and Jake Lockley. Shortly before Elias decided in turn Marc at the Putnam Psychiatric Hospital. Marc was approached for the first time by the Egyptian deity Khonshu, claiming to be Marc's true progenitor. Marc was allowed to leave temporarily to sit Shiva after Elias' death, but ran away after attending his funeral. Enthralled by Khonshu's voice, here's a little bit of his time as a mercenary. Marc enlisted in the Marines and served for 3 years. On his second tour in Iraq, his superiors caught notice of Marc's bizarre behavior. After his past was dug up, Marc was dishonorably discharged. He later joined the CIA and worked with several people who would later interact with Moon Knight, including William Cross, Amos Lardner, and his own brother, Randall Spector. Randall killed Spector's girlfriend Lisa with a hatchet to keep her from exposing a gun-running scheme. Wow, that's horrible. Spector retaliated with a grenade and assumed Randall was dead. Once he left the CIA, Spector enrolled in illegal fights, where he befriended Frenchie DuChamp, and both became soldiers for hire. Not heroes for hire, but soldiers for hire. Okay. They took on several assignments, mainly in Africa and South America. Spector later went to trial for assassinating the president of Wayward, a South American country. Spector and Frenchie took a job in Egypt for Raoul Bushman. Whereas Spector worked for the money, Bushman seemed to enjoy plunder and killing. When Bushman killed archaeologist Peter Ochrane to find an Egyptian pharaoh's tomb, Spector punched Bushman to protect Al-Rene's daughter Marlene. Furious, Bushman mortally wounded him in desert, killing everyone in the place except for Marlene. Frenchie and his villager willing to tell him the secrets of the tomb. Spector managed to reach the tomb before he collapsed, and Marlene and the crew laid him beneath an idol of Khonshu. Ooh, this must be where he got his powers. His spirit had an encounter with Khonshu, who promised to save. I think Khonshu was also considered one of the elder gods that they call Khonshu, and then Khonshu's father, Ra-Amon, I think, who promised to save his life in exchange for his service. Spector agreed, although he later considered this encounter a hallucination. Restored to life, he punished Bushman's men while Bushman escaped himself. So Khonshu pretty much resurrected him. Yeah. Becoming Moon Knight. Having finally found a purpose in life, Spector applied himself fully here. He, Frenchie, and Marlene, now his lover, moved to New York, taking the idol along. With their help, he developed the costume, equipment, and persona of Moon Knight with his fortune, in addition to support his new career of fighting crime. He began using his Stephen Grant persona as a fancier and Jake Locklear as a cab driver, whose purpose was to gather information at street level. His original persona, with its multiple facets, faded into the background. Still leading 4 separate lives put great mental stress upon Spector. Lockley developed a network of informants, including the homeless Bartrand Crawley, diner owner, and Gina Launders, and her sons Ricky and Ray. Spector's first major job as Moon Knight came when the committee hired him to capture a werewolf named Jack Russell. Old Jack Russell. He succeeded in large part thanks to the silver cesty he was equipped with. Cesty, you know what that is, right? It's like kind of like a brass knuckle type style weapon that goes over the fist, Middle Eastern in origin. However, he learned that the committee planned to turn Russell's sister into another werewolf and use them both as weapons. He did the honorable thing and switched sides. Spector and Russell shut down the committee. Spector faced Conquer Lord on his own briefly before joining the Defenders to battle the life model decoy version of the Zodiac. The first skeleton from Spector's closet to bedevil Moon Knight was William Cross, now the villain Crossfire, from whom Spector rescued the Thing. He met Spider-Man for the first time when they teamed up against the masked Marauder, who at the time called himself Big M, and employed the original Cyclone. Moon Knight had reached the big time and encountered supervillains with more frequency. Very early on, he had to face a serial killer dubbed the Hatchet Man, who claimed to be his brother Randall. Spector investigated the deaths of Amos Lardner when his body arrived in a crate on Spector's doorstep. He learned that Amos' brother James had become a test subject in a CIA experiment, one that Spector himself had participated in. And when Amos investigated, he was forced to undergo the same treatment and committed suicide as a result. Wow, that's rough. Spector faced other menaces, some superpowered, some insane, some simply ambitious, but all dangerous. He confronted the Slasher and a man slaying homeless people in effort to find his father. He tracked down Bushman and sent him to jail. But Bushman struck back by having Midnight Man, a more recent foe, destroy Spector's idol of Khonshu. Oh no. By this time, Spector was convinced that Khonshu was giving him his powers. Oh, he finally believed it, huh? Does he have powers or is he just crazy? As well as focus in life, Moon Knight's next major foe, Morpheus, turned out to be a patient of Dr. Peter Alrene, Marlene's brother. The idol of Khonshu sustained Spector again when he first encountered the Black Spectre, who tried to terrorize people into supporting his bid for mayor. Nobody, including Dr. Alrene, believed Spector when he claimed that Knowles was the Black Spectre, but Khonshu gave him the strength to prevail. A battle with the Fly left Spector unable to walk, but he quickly recovered. To stop an ancient Egyptian curse, Spector briefly hosted the spirit of the priest Khonshu, which helped to integrate his personalities. But later, Spector suffered another serious mental breakdown and decided to abandon all his alternative identities to settle down with Marlene by reconciling with his father's legacy, though he found a measure of peace and decided to retire from crime fighting. As part of his life, Spector gave up his Grant identity and sold the idol at a gallery in Paris. He had a vision, however, telling him that the image is delivered up to evil. Called back to action as Moon Knight, he learned that Marlene could no longer tolerate his schizophrenic behavior, and she left him. In the Egyptian Valley of Kings, Spector met 3 ancient priests of Khonshu who told him that Khonshu had chosen him as an earthly champion and gave him new weapons. So some of his weapons actually came from Khonshu. I thought him and his partner created them. Only later did Spector realize that Khonshu himself was influencing him subconsciously. Wow. So that's a little bit about Moon Knight's background and history. Pretty interesting. This is going to be quite a character. Not sure how much they'll be able to, bring to life on screen, but sounds very interesting. Now let's delve into a little bit about Moon Knight's powers and abilities. And they're quite extensive. As a testament to the human brain, Moon Knight's state of mind has always caused his powers and abilities from Khonshu to come into question, as he himself at times is not a reliable source. It's been stated that he may suffer from madness so powerful it can only be described as magic. Wow. Lunar Strength. Through the power of Khonshu, Marc Spector received increased strength at night and under the light of the moon. His strength naturally increased after nightfall and whenever he was away from direct sunlight. Under the new moon, when the moon was not visible in the sky, his strength increased so that he could lift 1,000 pounds. Whoa! Over the next 2 weeks, his strength would increase even further as the moon became larger in the night sky. Under the light of the full moon, his strength reached its peak, allowing him to lift 4,000 or 2 tons. Immortality. Marc Spector's pact with Khonshu comes with the advantages of immortality. Moon Knight has been brought back to life by Khonshu on numerous occasions. Fatal wounds that would end any other mortal superhero or restored by the god of full health, allowing Moon Knight to continue his vengeful spree. Wow, so Khonshu won't let him die. He says your work is not done. Abilities. Over the course of his life as a boxer, U.S. Marine, mercenary, and costumed superhero, Marc Spector has become an expert at hand-to-hand combat techniques and various martial arts. He is an Olympic-level athlete and skilled acrobat and gymnast, and excels as a combat strategist. Expert pilot. He is an excellent pilot and aviator due to his years as a U.S. Marine and mercenary. Expert detective. Spector is a good detective / private investigator with broad skills, knowledge, and understanding of the criminal underworld. He also knows many of the streets of New York very well due to being a cab driver in the alias of Jack Lockley, which is one of his personalities. Interrogation expert. He is an expert at interrogation after employing military secrets, police methods of torture. Torture! Master marksman. He is capable of hurling all types of projectiles with great aim and pinpoint accuracy, as well as an excellent sharpshooter marksman. He is able to slice a bullet in half with a crescent disc. Wow. Weapons master. Spector is adept with nearly every weapon ever invented, ranging from many types of swords, combat knives, batons, chains, brass knuckles, thrown projectiles such as a shuriken, longbows, bolos, boomerangs, to use all types of firearms such as pistols, sniper rifles, automatic assault rifles, submachine guns, machine guns, grenade launchers, anti-tank bazooka, and even electronic remote firing stations such as 20-30 millimeter anti-aircraft full auto chain guns. Okay, Gatling guns, mechanized mortars and missile launchers, etc. Wow. Master martial artist. Spector is a former heavyweight boxing champion who underwent intense training as a commando, intelligence operative, and mercenary. He is skilled in armed and unarmed combat with training in boxing, judo, krav maga, silat, dambe, savat, eskrima, karate, muay thai, and kung fu. His knowledge is extensive enough that it has been shown that he can use pressure points against his opponents, striking nerve clusters to stun or even incapacitate instantly. On more than one occasion, without powers, he has fought the Punisher to a standstill. Punisher, quite a guy to stand up to this guy. He's multilingual, he speaks English, Arabic, and has demonstrated his proficiency in both Egyptian and Sudanese dialects of it. Pain resistance, insanity, torture, spirituality gifted, or simply numb from all the years of damage to his body, Moon Knight has an incredibly strong threshold for pain. Telepathic resistance. Spector's multiple personalities give him some protection against certain psychic powers, such as possession or mental control. That's good, can resist mind control. Physical strength. Currently, Spector has the strength of a normal human male of his age, height, and build who engages in extensive regular exercise. He could formerly lift twice his body weight, 450 pounds, but since losing his powers, he has been routinely weightlifting and is likely stronger, according to the official handbook of Marvel Universe number 9, at his strongest. Under the light of the full moon, he can lift 2 tons. Wow. So his power seems to wax and wane depending on the phase of the moon. All right. And weaknesses for you villains out there that want to face this hero. Brain damage, mental illness. While it was initially believed Marc suffered from dissociative identity disorder, it was determined that the different personas he has developed throughout his life are a consequence of having become Khonshu's avatar. Khonshu is said to have 4 aspects: Pathfinder, Embracer, Defender, and the Watcher of overnight travelers. Spector cycles through these aspects as his brain applies identities to them in order to explain them. In essence, Marc's mind has become colonized by Khonshu, and the different personalities Marc displays are a way to cope with the damage. Despite this, Marc has also been shown to have experienced dissociative episodes from a young age. Wow, Marc Spector, coming soon in the MCU. Impressive and very, very interesting guy. He's usually like a street level hero, so we might get to see him come across Daredevil and other street level heroes like that. I always was a fan. I liked the character. Probably didn't read as many comics as I would have liked to on him, but it seemed like a really great character, and the guy they got playing him sounds like he's going to be pretty decent. Should be pretty good. And I'm sure you saw the first look they showed the actor Isaac doing some of the action sequences, and Isaac looked like he can do action pretty well. I wouldn't say he's phenomenal, but he looked pretty well, looked pretty good. So it should come out pretty good. He shouldn't need a whole lot of help. I'm sure he'll need help, but shouldn't need a whole lot of help, and it should come out pretty good. I'm very excited about Moon Knight. How are you feeling about it? Let us know down below. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We was looking at the stats, and it looked like a lot of people are watching our videos but haven't subscribed yet. I'm not sure why you're doing that, because we really need you to subscribe. So please take the time to hit that subscribe button. It is very, very, very important so that we can continue to do this work. And hit the notification bell if you haven't. And if you have, you might want to check it anyway, because sometimes it gets untoggled and we're not sure how that's happening. But thank you for taking this journey with me into Marc Spector, aka Moon Knight. Cannot wait. Very excited about this character. I think he's probably going to be one of my favorites. And I hope to also see him in a few other projects, preferably Blade. I'd love to see him interact with the character Blade upcoming, which is also done by another phenomenal actor. Thank you, UCU family members. JoninSho is out, and I will catch you again. But until then, we are comics.
Copyright disclaimer. Citation of articles and authors in this report does not imply ownership. Works and images presented here fall under Fair Use Section 107 and are used for commentary on globally significant newsworthy events. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Community Guidelines Disclaimer. The points of view and purpose of this video is not to bully or harass anyone, but rather share that opinion and thoughts with other like-minded individuals curious about the subject.